What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike, back with the Entre or short for entrepreneur. And in today's video, we're going to be doing not only a spot market update for Hotshot trucking in November of 2025, but we're also going to be going over tips and tricks on how to help you guys make anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 a week using these methods, using the DAT1 load board. Let's hop right into it. Before we do, let's go ahead and shout out today's sponsor, LogRock, right? The easiest trucking insurance agency to work with. I work closely with LogRock myself. I'm also a licensed trucking insurance agent. So if you guys need a trucking insurance quote, make sure you check out that link in the description. And then also I want to give a small shout out to, hold on, there it goes, Riviera Finance, right? So if you guys want to get paid for a load and you don't understand what a factoring company is, right? How you get paid out same day or next day. If not, you're waiting 15, 30, 45 days for the freight brokers to actually pay you. So go ahead and get paid fast with Riviera. Check that link in the description too, and let them know that Mike sent you. So we're going to hop right into it, right? First, I want to show you guys the truckload capacity outlook. This is using Ryan Transportation site just to go over how many carriers we got coming in within the month of November. So this shows like the net positive and net negative that the industry is seeing. Usually an influx of carrier means that, you know, there's probably a little bit more possibility for better freight. We haven't seen a lot of upside, you know, really since the tail end of 2022. We've been in what's called a freight recession since 2020, into 2022 into 2023 due to high inflation, high fuel prices, etc. But we're starting to see more net positive months, not necessarily consecutive, right? We had a pretty big wick down last month, but with more carriers leaving the industry than entering, it actually brings more availability for rates to increase with the capacity going down and hopefully the supply picking up in the near future. So this is not negative news to see that everything's pretty much neutral. And for the most part, we haven't seen a huge influx of carriers, showing that it's a pretty good opportunity to hop into the market while times are still pretty rough, right? Then we're gonna go back on DAT, right? By the way, it will be a link in the description to help you save 10% on DAT1 for your first year. So don't forget to, you know, support the channel and check that out. But the flatbed rates week over week, last week was a little bit more positive. But month over month, we're seeing an increase. And then from last year around this time, we also see a small increase, right? And then as far as the rates, now this isn't going to be one-to-one to flatbed Hotshot. I would say flatbed Hotshot loads are hovering anywhere from $1.70 a mile to maybe $2.20 a mile, just depending on your market, how much weight you can carry, etc. But for flatbed rates, they're hovering around $2.50 for spot rates. All right, and as far as the load to truck ratio, we can see that the load to truck ratio, slight dip, nothing crazy. This isn't the, you know, best season for flatbed. That's always gonna kind of be, you know, your spring into your summertime. Wintertime is time to pull out the tarps and get out in the cold and, you know, deal with what you got to deal with, right? But rates are probably, if I had to guess, they're gonna stay above 23 and 24, right? And that's a big positive. But you know, same for the loads to truck ratio. The more loads per truck that's in the area, more wiggle room for the rate, more than likely you'll have some room to negotiate for that load, right? All right, now we're gonna search load searches from the last video, starting with Atlanta, Georgia. To quickly go over what you're looking at, right? For origin, this is where you put in the city and state you want to pick up a load from. Deadhead origin refers to basically how many miles you want to travel to get to the pickup. Destination would be if I wanted to go somewhere specific. Let's put in Columbus, Ohio and search to see if we got anything. We got 5 results that's within 200 miles of the pickup and 150 miles of the destination, but we're going to leave this open because we want to see everything. Equipment type, we got flatbed or step deck. This is where 90% of your loads are going to get booked with, which is flatbed Hotshot. Then we got for load type full and partial, length 40 feet, weight 10,000 pounds, and then we got the date from Friday to Monday, right? So let's go ahead and search, see what we got in the area. We're going to start off with the highest rate coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, which is $26.50. This is for a flatbed Hotshot. Let me go back to that one. Flatbed Hotshot. No tarp, no Conestoga trailers, no Landstar, right? So this is pretty good. You can see the average spot rate for a lane like this is 277. They're right at 278. Nothing crazy about this. Yeah, pretty decent load. You know, nice load. Next highest rate, we got 2280 to go from Norcross, Georgia to Denver, Colorado. 28 feet. Let's see, partial load, no tarp. It's giving the dimensions in here and a load ID. Good old Landstar. Let's go ahead and go to the highest rate per mile. We do got a good, bit of searches today. All right. Highest rate per mile is 283 to go from Troy, Alabama to Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is a flatbed load. So let's go to flatbed Hotshot. You can see the equipment right here. So pay attention to that. No tarp, no color. It's that same load. The highest rate is the highest rate per mile, basically. So that's insane. Really hot load. Then we got 244 to go from Greer, South Carolina to Wilmington, North Carolina. Driver needs twit car, 40 feet hot shot, empty container. So that's what it is, an empty container. So paying $725. They're going to be probably pretty firm on those rates. That's kind of how those trailers are. You usually want to be around at least $3 a mile for them, but that's not too bad on the loaded mileage. And let's go ahead and get to our next search. I want to make sure we get enough of them. All right, next search we have is Austin, Texas. And I saw the like ratio is pretty trash. It was pretty doo-doo. I would call it doo-doo, right? Make sure you guys are liking the video, man. I'm taking my time out of my day. I do not get paid a lot of money to make these videos, guys. Trust me. So hitting the like video just to spread this out in the algorithm and help people with this free information really helps out the channel, and just support me. And drop a comment down on the city and state you want to see in next week's video. But for highest rate out of Austin, Texas, we got $3,300 to go to Maine from San Antonio, 25 feet, 3,600 pounds, and it is posted for flatbed or step deck. So that might be a taller load. I'm not too sure. Let's look at the next one, $2,600 to go to California, 40 feet, 7,000 pounds, $1.46. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, they want that as a full load. So dedicated. Not looking at that for too long. Not a lot of search results here either. Only 107 results. Highest rate per mile we got is 281 a mile. We got one for 241 right there. To go from who knows what that is, Texas to, is that Sedell, Louisiana? Hazmat load on a flatbed hot shot 281. It makes sense why it's the highest. That load would usually only pay about 228 a mile, so it makes sense that Hazmat has it about 50% or 50 cents a mile higher. Still not enough in my opinion, but it's all good. This is really interesting right here, right? So we are going to be making some news related videos in the future. I want you guys to pay attention to the comments. This has been pretty normal for the past few years, but I'm pretty sure this is going to get more strict as time goes ahead. So strap and go. Driver must speak clear English for loading and offloading safety. And I think that's completely reasonable. You're going to have two things that's affecting capacity in the near future, which could be non-domicile CDLs being revoked or not being able to be renewed within the next year of September or October of 2026. And then you got the English language proficiency law, which is basically saying, on a roadside inspection, if you guys cannot read or say proper English, you could be put out of service, and that carrier could be fined pretty hefty for it. So a lot going on into trucking, but that's not what this video is about. I want you guys to stay tuned and let me know if you guys are interested in that type of data though. So we got Dallas, Texas to Amarillo, Texas. Sorry, my mouse is acting wonky right now. Same thing, strap and go. Driver must speak clear English. Let's see, is that the same exact? Yeah, the same exact load. All right, got another one for 800. Same thing. Well, it's pretty cool though. Let's do that. I love it when they can show the load too. Houston to Arkansas, you can kind of see the interstates that you'll be getting on, same for the highways, and it just puts in perspective like where you are on the map. Pretty cool. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get on to our next city and state. Next one we got is Tallahassee. Oh Lord, slaughter that one. Tallahassee, Florida. Only 27 results. So this is a dead zone, guys. Highest rate coming out of here is $3,000. We're not gonna stay on it too long. Must have ramps. Sorry, I'm just gonna scroll like this. Must have ramps. No, my head's in the way sometimes. And highest rate per mile, we actually got 283 to go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. But as you can see, that is picking up out of Alabama for a flatbed load. Highest flatbed Hotshot load that's posted is going from Nashville, Georgia to Kansas City, Missouri. $4.64. There are no comments on this load. 20 feet, 2,100 pounds. Let's go ahead and go into the next city and state. I feel like this is more of a dead zone. Now we got Spencer, Iowa, which could in fact be another dead zone. And there goes the camera, right? Sorry guys, my camera just gave out, but I guess it can. You guys can see it much better with it like this anyway. So highest rate coming out of here. Oh, we got 93 results, so it must be in a good, decent part of Iowa. We got Glenwood, Minnesota going to Cali, $1.47, 2,700 on the rate, but it's 119 high. Yeah, we're gonna pass on that. Let's go to our highest rate per mile. $1,000 to go from Lakeville, Minnesota to Franklin, Wisconsin. 113 wide. Yeah, so this is over dimensional. What about this one? No, flatbed load. Let's go flatbed Hotshot. 237 a mile, St. Paul, Minnesota to Ashley, North Dakota. Call, text with any questions, comments. Load must be fully secured before and upon delivery. Driver must accept tracking. I'm guessing that's what that has. But guys, that's gonna do it for this week's video. Like I said, if you want to see yours in next week's video, comment that down in the comment section. Also, let me know if you guys want me to go over the news related topics. I've already started working on a few. I've been a little hesitant to drop them because, like I said, I'm not really a political guy. I've never even voted before, but I feel like more than ever, politics is very important to kind of cover within this time, for educational purposes, because it can affect the capacity and the rates for LTL. But I'll see you guys on next week's video. I really appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Peace.